Something strange happens in a small village in Poland. Local women sound the alarm. The mayor wants to reward someone who delivers what's been missing. Experts try to solve the inexplicable mystery that's gripped the place. Relax, nothing criminal going on there, just a little demographic puzzle. But I'll get to that in a bit. It all began a while ago with a regional contest for little firefighters. Many Pee-wee teams competed, but one of them stood out. Not only were those kids good at their jobs, but they were also only girls. Not exactly shocking? Just wait for it. Miejsce Odrzanskie is an old, cozy village in the south of Poland. A little over 300 people live there now. Many of them have daughters, sometimes even 2 per family. Just like in the rest of the world, you'd say, except for one thing. Not a single boy has been born there in nearly a decade. At least there's no issue with baby girls. 12 of them came into the world in 9 years. Impressive for such a small settlement, right? And they sure do rule in their village. Like I said, they're especially interested in firefighting. Since 2013, the girls have been learning to help their neighbors with this difficult task. In fact, the children were the ones who insisted on the creation of a youth fire brigade. Youth being a broad term because its youngest member is just 2 years old. During practice, they have fire drills just like their fellow grown-ups. They put out the flames, not real ones of course, and they assist the injured. And they never forget to put on their uniform first. When there's a competition coming up, they train even harder than usual, at least every other day after school. And not for nothing. The girls' team's been bringing medals from the main national contests for the past 6 years. Seems like the women in Miejsce Odrzanskie have mastered many spheres which have been considered a man's job for a long time. They drive tractors to harvest corn and wheat. They run the affairs, as the head of the village is Kristina Zedziak. And don't forget the fire department. Right now it has 24 women and only 8 men. But so what, you might ask? What's wrong with the village having more women than men if everyone's happy? Well, the thing is that, like a bunch of other Polish villages and tiny towns, it's steadily losing its population. There are nearly 900 inhabitants less now than a half a century ago. Many people moved to big cities, not to mention those who emigrated from other European countries. Each family that still lives in the village today has at least one relative residing abroad. And even so, Miejsce Odrzanskie remains chiefly an agricultural community. A big part of its territory is covered by crop fields and farms that take a lot of time and energy to manage. Taking into account the steadily shrinking and aging population, it's not hard to understand why the locals are concerned, right? The shortage of boys suddenly seems to be just the icing on the cake. But not all the members of the community are upset about this whole situation. Little girls themselves seem to actually like it, and it certainly doesn't stop them from pursuing their hobbies or enjoying themselves. To give you an idea, 10-year-old Malwina Kickler says that without noisy boys, they can finally have some peace and quiet. You can always meet them somewhere else. What can I say? Kids will be kids. Some people claim that they wanted to have a son in their families, but now they believe that it naturally can't happen in this village. Tomasz Golasz, head of the Junior Fire Brigade and dad of 2 daughters himself, says that women just don't give birth to boys here. But surely there must be something the future parents can do to increase their chances of having a boy. Well, after the case went viral, doctors from all over Poland shared their advice. They recommended that women trying to conceive eat more food rich in calcium. And if that doesn't help, then there's an old tip from the Polish Highlanders. The couple just needs to keep an axe under their bed, or at least so they say. Not sure that really works, but I guess it's worth a shot. You may wonder what would happen when a baby boy that everyone's hoped for so long finally comes. Rajmun Frischko, the mayor of the municipality to which the village belongs, revealed that there's been so much pressure concerning this matter that for a while he seriously thought about naming a street after the lucky newborn. Probably a little over the top, don't you think? Anyway, he promised that the kid's parents will receive a present and maybe they'll even plant a tree in his honor. In any case, this boy would be so welcome, he'd definitely get special treatment. He'd sure be an exceptional member on the firefighting team. The interesting thing is that the residents who've lived in the village for a long time aren't so surprised about the situation. They say that while girls were born there regularly, giving birth to a boy was pretty rare, even decades ago. What could cause this extraordinary anomaly? Maybe the place has a unique microclimate. Is there some genetic link that all mothers in this area share? Or maybe it was something more mysterious. Unfortunately, there's no way to answer that now. But don't give up yet. Professor Rafał Płaski from the Medical University of Warsaw had already explained that, to solve this puzzle, experts need not only analyze the historical data, but also look into the couples who only have girls. If there are any connections between them, it could prove useful for the study. Another important factor is the environment. To complete the picture, they'll need to talk to both children and parents living in the village. That seems like a lot of work, but many scientists have expressed their desire to get to the truth. I'm sure they're already conducting interviews with the villagers and going through statistics. And as far as other parts of the country are concerned, surprisingly, newborns are more likely to be boys. In other words, it's about 1.06 boys for every girl born in Poland. In fact, this is the case for almost every corner of the Earth. Of course, there are exceptions. For instance, in some Asian regions like in India or China, the gap is even bigger because sons there are somehow more desired than daughters. But in most countries, approximately 105 male children for every 100 female ones come into the world, and that's how demographics have worked for several centuries. From this point of view, Miejsce Odrzanskie is a rare phenomenon, all the more interesting to know its real reason. Or maybe it's just a curious coincidence. So what do you think? Share your views down in the comments. Hey, if you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But don't go looking for little baby boys just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. Just click on this left or right video and enjoy. Stay on the bright side of life.